This woman blinded her sugar daddy when he refused to pay her. 26-year-old Kaylee Renee Medina met a 61-year-old man on Seeking a Dating app, which is where older men meet younger women. They both ended up going on their first date, they hit it off, and according to the man, nothing unusual happened. They stopped seeing each other, but later that month, Kaylee randomly showed up to his house at around 2:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. He let her inside, they talked, drank some wine, when suddenly Kaylee asked him for $2,000. He told her that he didn't have that kind of money, and that's when she freaked out and began destroying everything in his house, including his TV and his walls. She then grabbed detergent and poured it over his head, burning his eyes and then blinding him. And it only gets worse. She then stole his iPhone, passport, surveillance camera, and Dyson hairdryer before leaving. He was rushed to the hospital and ended up having chemical burns to his eyes. But police knew exactly who Kaylee was because this wasn't her first time being arrested. She was previously charged with a DUI and aggravated assault multiple times. She was eventually arrested, but then was released on a $20,000 bond. Which makes me wonder, how bad did you need the $2,000 if you can bail yourself out of jail for $20,000?
In 1922, the tomb of King Tut had been unearthed after over 3,000 years. And with the opening of the tomb came a curse of death with it. The man who financed the tomb's opening was dead only 3 months after King Tut's mummified body was removed from his burial site. This man had gotten bit by a mosquito while in Egypt, and one day while shaving his face, he reopened the mosquito bite. This led to blood poisoning that would claim the very first victim of the so-called Pharaoh's curse. His half-brother who had visited the tomb ultimately died of the same cause. Another man hosted a dinner party at his home in Baltimore where he was showing his friends the items he had collected from King Tut's tomb. 30 minutes after his guests had left for the evening, his house suddenly went up in flames. He could have escaped the fire, but in desperation to save the manuscript he had been working on, he went back inside and never came out. The name of the manuscript he was trying to save? The Egyptian Book of the Dead. Another man unalived himself, but not before writing a note that said, "I have succumbed to a curse which forces me to disappear." The message was written in his own blood. There are almost a dozen more victims of the Pharaoh's curse. Check out episode 10 of my podcast for the full story.
Story time from years ago when my best mate at the time shat on my bed sheets. So I've been at my house with my boyfriend at the time and her, and she's invited this guy over that she was speaking to, whatever. They've gone into the bedroom to do the thing. Yeah. Vile. Anyway, so that night, they were sleeping on the couch and we were sleeping in bedroom, and they've gone into the bedroom to do whatever they wanted to do, yeah. So it comes to night time. Obviously, me and my boyfriend at the time went into the bedroom, gone to sleep. All night, I could smell shit. That's all I was going on about. It stinks of shit. It stinks of shit. I thought it was me. I thought I fully stunk of shite, right? So in the morning, I thought, no, I'm going to have to get a shower. I fucking reek. So I've gone to the shower, got in the shower, put my towel around me. Seeing this big fucking patch on my towel, I thought, what is that? It stinks, yeah? So I've smelt it. Shit on my towel, full on shit on my towel, right? So I've been like, what the fuck? Looked at my bed sheets, shite all over my bed sheets, spray painted shit all over them, right? So then I've gone to go see her. She's left me house. She's gone out of my house. She's not in the living room. He's not in the living room. They've gone. They've shit. Yeah, they're not in the house at all. What the hell? So I've messaged her and I've been like, what the fuck's going on? There's shit all over my bed sheets. She'd done, you know what, begins with an A, in my bed, shat all over my bed sheets. He's gone into the bathroom, wiped his dick with my fucking towel, hasn't he? Are you taking piss? How vile? And then gone? And then gone out of my house. She's embarrassed. She's shit all. Wash him. Offered to take him home and wash him. So anyway, a sister worked at Lidl, and a few weeks later I've gone and done my shop at Lidl, gone into Lidl, and she's gone, let's say the girl who shat my bed sheets, let's say she's called Mary, yeah? So Mary's sister came up to me in Lidl and went, why have you fallen out with Mary? I think it's a bit horrible of you, seeing as everything you've gone through, blah, blah, blah. I said, are you joking, love? I said, she shat all over my bed sheets, didn't she? She's gone, what? Well, she shat all over my bed sheets. Told her the whole story, including about the A word. Told her everything. What she's been doing. She went, oh, Mary told me you fell out with her because she leaked. She were on a period and she leaked on your bed, so you fell out with her. I said, you take the fucking piece. What normal person will fall out with a mate for leaking on the bed? No, mate, she's done deed and shat all over my bed sheets and got a boyfriend to wipe his cock on my towel.
This is one of the most disturbing TV shows I've ever seen the BBC produce, and it's based on a true story. I found this one incredibly hard to get through. It made me both sick and angry, and it's a show that's never too far away from my thoughts. We have a trigger warning in place for DV and SA. My name's Ricky. I love disturbing films, and this is my boyfriend. So this hour-long presentation was released in 2014, and it centers around a young woman who finds herself in a relationship with her ideal guy. They meet at a party, they exchange phone numbers, they start texting, and over a certain amount of time they fall in love with each other. But her boyfriend's alarming behaviour starts really quite early on, and this young woman finds herself in a truly horrendous relationship. That's as far as I'm going to go in regards to plot. So this was put out in 2014 by the BBC. Like I mentioned before, this is based on a true story. It's told from this woman's perspective, and that makes it so much more heartbreaking. We've seen a lot of different shows or movies about DV, and DV is usually presented to us in the form of a middle-aged couple, maybe sometime in the past, almost as if these things only took place in a time long gone. This is a very modern telling of this same story, which involves things like social media, phones with cameras on them. This couple are a young couple who are very much involved in the things that young couples are involved in. They love social media, they love going out to the pubs, all that kind of stuff. And it really highlights how times have changed in respect to things like DV. I've always said that social media can be quite damaging, especially for young people. And I've often had arguments with people older than me who try to tell me that things were way worse for them back in their day. This show, to me, really highlights the divide between generations and how I feel that older generations don't really understand how much harder it is for young adults to exist in a world that's suffering from this addiction to social media. And when you take social media and smartphones and apply it to a situation like this that involves DV, it is a recipe for catastrophic disaster. The BBC can be quite vanilla. They represent apparently what the UK want to see, want to consume. When the world thinks of the UK, they think about the BBC. So when I watched this, I wasn't expecting anything too shocking, but I was honestly blown away at the level of detail they went into with this story. It's really quite upsetting because it's so realistic, and these things are happening to people still. This is an amazing production. It's a very important tale that needs to be told because there's still so much work we need to do in addressing these issues. Not just DV, but social media, and how people can use social media to control and manipulate people.
So check this crazy ass loophole I just went through. I nutted in the condom. Put water in the condom. Okay? Then, you want to take it a step further, put the condom over a light. At that point, you're going to see a homemade lava lamp. Not capping though.
You want a real spooky one that actually happened and nobody can explain it? This didn't happen in the Appalachian Mountains like my normal stories, but it did happen to 9 hikers, and what happened to them is still unexplained. Like, nobody can explain it. I want to know your thoughts on this because this is my Roman Empire. I think about this all the time. So in January 1959, these 9 experienced, not run-of-the-mill hikers, these very experienced Russian hikers are hiking the Ural Mountains. There were 3 different checkpoints along the way. They made it to the first checkpoint and then they check in with like radio team or whatever to let them know that they're safe. But they never made it to the second checkpoint. So that's when they called out for search and rescue to go find them. This mountain was not like your just like average little hiking mountain. This was like a super snowy, I mean, there were known to be avalanches, things like that. We're talking Russia, okay? So search and rescue is deployed to go find them. They search for weeks, and what they find is absolutely insane. So the first 5 bodies of the hikers were found kind of all scattered in the snow. But what was really, really odd is they were all in different states of dress. Like, some of them were wearing no clothes at all. Some of them only had on pants. One had just like one shoe on and one shoe off. Then they also had these really weird unexplained injuries. One actually appeared to have bitten off part of his own knuckle. In their tents that they found, the tents had been cut open from the inside. Like something was in their tent and they were trying to get out. And then their clothes, because I said they were only in like partially clothed, their clothes were folded neatly, like back in the back sides of the tent. So at this point, they're still missing 4 hikers, right? Months go by, and as the snow starts to melt, they find the other 4. This is even crazier, y'all. One had a fractured neck, one had a fractured skull, one of them was missing both of her eyeballs, and another one had their tongue ripped out from the root. However, there were no external injuries. So there wasn't like big scratch marks or things like that. It was all internal. Another one was said to have their chest caved in with the force that would have been something like a car hitting them. But then 2 of the hikers were found to have radiation in their body. Radiation! People say this was an avalanche. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe it, because they would definitely have external injuries. And I'm sorry, but an avalanche does not rip out your tongue and your eyeballs. Oh, and I didn't tell you this. One of the bodies was found to have burns on him. What is going on? Some people say this was just hypothermia that would cause you to have this, like, it's a phenomenon that causes you to feel super hot and undress. But what explains the injuries? What explains the radiation? I'll give you my hot take. Something attacked them. I don't know what it was. It had to be something massive. Things just aren't adding up. I don't know. Tell me what you think about this case. Leave it in the comments. Have you ever heard of the Dyatlov Pass incident? Because y'all, I just continue to spiral.
Oh yeah, one more thing. If y'all see me on Love Island, mind your fucking business, bitch. I'm trying to find love, bitch. Y'all had y'all motherfucking chance.
These clips will make you think twice about ever stepping into the woods alone again. Let's dive straight into this first disturbing encounter. This terrifying video was captured by Franco, a beloved YouTuber you might recognize from his channel, Franco TV. Known for his calm and down-to-earth personality, Franco is no stranger to fear. He spent over a decade exploring some of the world's most haunted locations, often venturing out alone in the dead of night. While many would think, why would anyone willingly put themselves in such terrifying situations? For Franco, this is exactly what drives him. Exploring the unknown and uncovering the forgotten is his passion. On June 5th, 2024, Franco set out on another eerie adventure. It was a warm summer evening, the perfect weather for an exploration. Little did he know, this night would turn into one of his most haunting experiences yet. Franco's target was a cemetery in Florida, rumored to be one of the most haunted places in the area. He'd heard chilling stories about the site, ghostly apparitions, shadowy figures, and the restless spirits of those buried there. But the danger wasn't only paranormal. The cemetery had a darker side. Stories of squatters, grave robbers, and even people using the area for illicit activities made it a risky place to visit, especially alone and at night. For most, this would be a huge red flag. But for Franco, this was exactly his kind of challenge.
I didn't drive in, it's just me. I walked in here, I have my gear on me in a book bag that I have set right over there, and I'm going to kind of walk deeper in here, seeing what I can see. That being said, those of you who are wondering, I'm not in India. I'm here in Florida. I will be leaving soon, and the adventures overseas will continue. But as of right now, I was just visiting my family. But I do want to see and get to the bottom of what the hell's going on in the back mausoleum. Let's get into it. So you could see how dark it is. It may not look like much, but further deep in there, there's a big mausoleum, and there's another mausoleum towards the back. And then there's a forest that trickles through certain roads, but they're like dangerous roads, so people go in and out doing drugs and stuff. But this place also has a creepy lore of being haunted, and a lot of it's probably spoken by the people doing the drugs, which is weird because they're probably seeing things. But let's see what happens. I'm not sure. Nobody really goes through here because this place gets pretty dangerous.
Franco arrived at the cemetery just as the last light of day faded into darkness. Logging in to update his viewers, he shared his plan for the night. His goal? To explore the mausoleum at the heart of the cemetery and, if possible, make contact with the spirits said to haunt the area. With his night vision camera in hand, he makes his way through the eerie cemetery toward the mausoleum. But before he even gets there, something grabs his attention.
Oh, I saw a light back there. See it? Kind of blinking. There it is, you see it? Somebody has a light on in the dark. I'm gonna turn off my light. You guys get a better feel for how far out everything is. Oh, there it is again. It's right in the center there. Oh, there it is. Alright, there is a light. I can see that in my kind of normal eye spectrum as well. But I want to get to the mausoleum first.
As Franco made his way toward the mausoleum, something caught his eye. A light flickering in the distance. It appeared to be a flashlight, moving toward the cemetery from the woods. Franco stopped, watching it carefully. Though the sight was unsettling, he didn't feel an immediate threat and decided to continue his exploration. But as he moved closer to the mausoleum, something even stranger happened.
Alright, so I've been walking for a little bit now. I'm now getting close to the mausoleum, which is right in front of me. Now, while I was walking, I did see another flashlight or some sort of light come from the mausoleum here. But I'm a good almost 40 feet away from it. I want to see if I can see it again. Wait. Right around there. Towards the entrance. This isn't even the mausoleum where I saw the pale person. That's further up there. This is just right here next to me. Look. See it? I just saw another flashlight. It's like reflecting off the wall. Hold on, I'm gonna turn off my IRs. I'm hearing something inside. But I'm not seeing anything.
Another flashlight beam appeared, but this one was shining directly onto a wall. The odd thing? No one was holding it. And as if that wasn't unsettling enough, loud groaning noises echoed from inside the mausoleum. Could it be a homeless person taking shelter? Franco wasn't sure. He knew he needed to be cautious. People in such situations can be unpredictable, and their intentions aren't always clear.
Listen. It sounds like talking. Down there is the area that I just finished walking from. You see the light from the building? That's the building it just came from. Jesus Christ. I'm not seeing the light anymore. Now I'm just hearing something. Again, I have not used any flashlight. Oh, this is infrared. No night vision. And yes, if you guys are wondering, I am armed. I just heard a noise. Right over here. The last time I came in here was completely quiet. What was that noise? It sounded like somebody struggling to breathe. I just got it again. Let's see what it is. What was that? I just switched to my other night vision because you guys get a better view. But I'm not getting anything. For a split second, I could have sworn I was going to run into something. I'm not being as cautious as I usually am. I'm just going to see if I can record and see whatever I can get. I keep hearing what sounds like footsteps on the outside or something moving.